well, I'm going to look at doing some retouching work on this photograph, and what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to bring some of the detail out a little bit more and to smooth over the skin tones, just get rid of a few blemishes and just give an overall better feel and a better look to the photograph. We've already loaded it into Photoshop, as you can see, and what we need is we need 2 more copies of that, as again that you can see there. What we're going to do is we are going to rename the middle layer blur, and the top layer, which is currently layer 1 copy, we're going to call that detail. We're going to make the top copy, the detail copy, we're going to turn off its visibility, and we're going to highlight the middle copy, which is the blur copy, and we are actually going to add some blur to that before we start with the detail. If you go to filter, blur, and we're going to use a good old Gaussian blur that everybody uses, and we're going to set that at about 3 pixels. It's going to depend on your photograph where these settings go, so this is a general indication of how to go about bringing the best out of the photograph. So on this one, 3 pixels is good enough, so we're just going to press OK, and that will apply to that photograph. We're going to highlight the detail layer, make it visible, go to filter, other, and we're going to go to high pass. What the high pass is going to do is it's going to pick out some of the details in the photograph. This is set at 6. You can play around with this just so that you've got the general look of how you can see this layer is at the moment. Again, each photograph is going to be slightly different. Click OK once you've set the radius on your pixels. Now that we've got those 2 layers altered, what we're going to do is the detail layer, where we've used a high pass, we're going to change the blending mode, and we're going to change that to vivid light. If I turn that on and off now, you can actually see there is a difference in the detail at the top on a hair, and also the necklace has come out a little bit more. We have applied blur to this as a general overall effect, but of course what that does is that will blur right across the picture. It's going to blur everything out across the picture, and what we don't want to do is we don't want to blur any of the important elements within the photograph. So if you highlight the blur, pop over to the left hand side and pick up your eraser tool, and this at the moment is set at 300 pixels, yours might be slightly different, so just adjust it so that you've got the size about right. We'll just bring that down a little bit. If you just go over the eye, over the other eye, over the lips, and believe it or not, just go over the ear, and then above her eyes, make the brush a little bit smaller, just go over our eyebrows so that there is still the main detail there without any blur. So already it's starting to look a little bit sharper, and there's a little bit more detail in there. Now, as you can see on the face, there are a few imperfections. We're going to deal with these darker ones first before we go to blending the skin tones in. And the little mole that you see that she's got there, if you take your spot healing tool, spot healing brush tool, and just place it over the top of the blemish and left click, and it's gone. Just underneath the eye, just need to make that bit smaller, and it's gone. There is a little blemish on the chin there, and there, and there's one up there. Now I've purposely not enlarged this photograph too much, because what you don't want to do is you don't want to take all of the detail out. You need to leave some of the detail in. There's a couple of just little small blemishes there, and there's just a small one on her arm. Now, as you can see down in the bottom corner, the bottom right hand corner, there's actually where she's put her arm around herself. You can just see the top of her fingernail. Just make the brush a little bit bigger. Let's just get rid of that, and that, again, that looks a lot better now. So already the detail and the blemishes are starting to disappear. What we need to do is we need to go to the lasso tool, and you need to select an area. You can select the areas quite large, it's okay. Just go around, make sure it meets up, and we're going to go back to the blur, Gaussian blur. We've already put 3 pixels on this. What we're going to do now is we're going to change it to 6 and click OK. That has just smoothed out that area. What you may find that is better for you as well is if you increase your feather to 36. If I press Q, it's going to bring a mask up, and you can see how those edges are feathered in, and it makes them nice and soft, and it will help with the overall appearance. Press Q again and we'll get rid of that. Okay, let's find our next area. So what we're going to do is we're going to come down, and again, you don't have to be exact with these, just a general area will smooth things out without making her look like she's made out of plastic. We'll come underneath the eye. Again, blur, Gaussian blur. It's already set at 6. And again, that's okay. These can be changed if need be. If you've got a heavily marked or heavily creased area, if there's creases in the skin or blemishes, you can increase that radius just to blur it out a little bit more, and it just makes it for a nice softer effect. Come underneath the chin. As you can see with the chin, when I select it, as you can see with the chin, there's slightly more overall effect needed on that, because even at 6 on the photograph you can see that it's slightly wrong. So let's just bump that up to 9, and that's good. On the arm, nice and gentle. And this was set at 9 from the last one, so we might have to bring this one back down, which we will. Let's take that back down to 6 and OK. Click out of it. Let's go back to our move tool. So as you can see, if I group these two together now, we'll just put them into a group. If I turn that off, you can see what a difference there is and how nicer that photograph appears. So it's as simple as that. It isn't rocket science. Let's turn it back on. It isn't rocket science. It's just a few adjustments to areas. You don't have to be that precise with it. You are not adjusting photographs to go in Vogue magazine, or you're not making Madonna look 40 years younger. If you go overboard with it, they are going to look plastic. So small changes with it. You can always go back and change it a little bit more again later on. So that's it for this one. We will be doing some more. We'll be doing some more on compositions. We'll be doing some more on easier ways to do selections and to remove different things from backgrounds. So come back, like us, subscribe, and we'll be back here pretty soon with another video for you. Thanks for watching, guys.